Hi everyone! Today we're gonna bring you in a very special place. We are in Monmouth, very close to the border between England and Wales.
Apples, come on!
We're gonna spend some time with Chris Porter, the man behind one of the most radical bike brand in the bike business today, Geometron. Let's gonna find out.
I started working at a motorcycle magazine, Fast Bikes. I wanted to race. Most of the other guys on the magazine were racers, but couldn't afford to. So I started racing downhill mountain bikes. It was the same kind of commitment to the front tyre as road racing motorcycle, that sort of, you think you're riding so fast, and then you come to the end of the race and you're a minute and a half behind Steve Pete on a 3-minute course, you know.
As you can see,
Second.
we've got not very much space and a lot of things in a very small space.
Yeah.
We've got valet.
You got valet as
We got valet.
Yeah.
We couldn't leave him.
Because we've started as a racing company, we've never been scared of sponsoring people. And when you look back at the roll call of people that we've sponsored, Chris Ball, who's the head of the EWS. We've got Rowan Sorrell, who's the biggest trail building company in the world. The first Mojo Trail Diary has Danny McCaskill, riding with Fox, and he was so stoked to get free stuff. It was amazing.
We decided on a standing bench because we thought it would be really good for our backs. So we could work at standing height.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's really bad for our backs.
This is former dirt office.
This is former dirt office.
So that's a piece of history.
It is a piece of history.
Yeah, that's how Geometron started, just as an experiment to get a bike for ourselves. They contacted Nikolai to try and get a custom bike made. The bikes were not good enough for what we wanted to do. We were pedaling up, but we wanted to charge back down. So we wanted essentially a downhill bike that we could trail ride. Bikes were nearly there, but not quite. It arrived and it got built up and it went to a show in Britain. And the journalists absolutely fell over themselves to look at it because it's so different to everyone else. Going, oh my God, look at the length of it. Oh my God, look at the head angle.
This is how a solid works.
Yeah, that's your SolidWorks, exactly.
Yeah, this is it. So
Geometron SolidWorks.
Yeah, so we sit there, okay, 63 degrees,
You make the bike that you want to see. You don't try and make the bike. I couldn't imagine the bike that a road rider wants to ride. Not interested. I'm not interested at all. I'm going to build a bike that I want to ride, and there will be people that want to ride the same bike.
There are so many things with the bicycle industry that are affected by this, and we just go. We don't look at the performance benefits. We go, oh, that's a really nice bike. How much does it weigh? Yeah. That's the only thing. That's the only performance criteria in the bicycle industry we've got. We just go, it doesn't weigh as much as I thought it would.
Yeah.
No. Oh, that's. What are you going to carry it? What? What are we doing? Are you going to? We're not carrying bikes anymore. We can ride them uphill.
Yeah.
It's not that radical. It's essentially the geometry of a decent downhill bike, but we want to pedal it back up. A steeper seat angle. I never understood why we have the seat angles we've got. Enough space between the wheels, we can still run a steep seat angle and have room without having the handlebars here. So it's not rocket science, it's not really difficult, but it obviously works. Everyone's aiming for it now, everyone's heading in that direction. But it's not super clever, it's just that we're independent, so we're not beholden to any other departments in the company. So we can just do it. Disrespect me, disrespect my family. No, Cosa Nostra. Yeah. It's just our thing.
Why do you think market is not ready to see dual crown forks on Enduro bike? Because everyone is talking about let's make the fork more stiff, let's make this tension so big,
yeah.
and no one is looking at dual crown, which is the easiest, and from my point of view, easiest, lightest solution to that problem.
I don't know, and you could say the market wasn't ready for hybrid, and you could say the market wasn't ready for coil shocks on trail bikes, and you could say the market wasn't ready for, you know, all sorts of things. But I'd say the market will arrive. You know, we're always slightly ahead, and I think the market will come and meet us, and people will ride a dual crank fork. How many times do you do a bar spin while you're on a trail ride? You know,
never.
Yeah, you know, I haven't. I don't. You don't have to do it that often.
Yeah. Sometimes people complain about the fact that if they're doing some like very tight switchback thing, the dual crown will hit the frame.
Yeah.
But if you look at that, if you reach the point where the dual crown hit the frame, you're already on the ground, even if you use a single crown fork.
Yeah, but that's, you know, this is a problem with bicycle design. You know, it's like the if you look at the way a bicycle steers and that stabilizes into the corner because of the head angle.
Yeah.
And if you reduce the head angle and make it 90 degrees, you can imagine how that wheel will do this.
Yeah.
So if that wheel does this, then it's not steering enough. So watch what we do when we don't have enough steering on that. If we bring it up, you see how it steers more?
Yeah.
So we steer less, we steer more. So if we don't have enough steering built into the design of the bike, we end up steering more upright. So now we're steering like this. We're steering like we're driving a bus.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we're not leaning over
little
beautiful arcs like Valentina. We're steering more like this. And however hard you load that, that's less stable.
Okay. So what you're saying is that the perception of people, it can be affected by the way how the bikes are designed, because they don't have the right amount of steering angle, and they think I need a single crown.
So you look at the downhill racing again. They don't struggle to get round corners with the dual crown fork. They actually get round corners pretty good.
And sometimes they have very tight corners.
Yeah. And they just get round them. They're not a problem.
At the moment, we've only just finished the latest version, which allows us to have one bike for riding in the woods with your mates. If you want to ride in the woods with your mates with one size wheel, or this size wheel, or that size wheel, or this combination, or this much travel, or that much travel, or with a dual crown fork, we've still only got one bike, and we'll just configure that to suit you as a rider. And to me, that's enough at the moment. When we reach the next step, we've got to redesign some of the components. And if we've got to redesign one component, there's an avalanche. We might as well redesign everything. You know, if we decide, okay, we've got a seat tube, which is an aluminium tube, and inside it we've got a seat post, which is an aluminium tube, and inside that we've got a movable dropper post, which is an aluminium tube, which doesn't seem to be a very elegant way of arranging the height of the saddle, because we've now got 3 aluminium tubes.
Yeah.
But if we redesign that, we've redesigned the structure of, you know, the whole arrangement of the bicycle.
Yeah.
And once we've done that, we might as well do everything else. It's a bigger thing, you know, you end up having to redesign an awful lot of stuff. It's difficult to use existing componentry when you reimagine a better job. In the same sense as the fashion industry, it doesn't have measurable metrics. You know, there's no performance metrics that we use to develop the bicycle. The only performance metric we use is we pick up the bike and we go, how much does it weigh? So that's the only performance metric that we use developing the bike. We always used a stopwatch. To me, that's really important. Then you've got to measure it, rather than measuring something esoteric like the stiffness or the flex, or trying to get a quantitative measurement on a feel thing. We decided just to go stopwatch. The stopwatch will tell us. If we're going slower, we've made a bad decision. If we're going faster, we've made a good decision.
That's a special present for you.
Oh man.
It's a Silva R in ultraviolet, but with a special mark here, so it's something you have to keep for your... Geometry is a key element of a good mountain bike, and today we can find so many different options in the market. The guys at Geometron are definitely throwing something very special in the mix. We would love to know what kind of geometry you have on your bike, why you love it, and if there is anything you would change to it. You may want a slacker head angle, or a lower BB, or a longer chainstay. So please leave a comment down here and let's start the discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get notifications for future episodes, hit the bell down here, and see you next time.